What if I told you that the money sitting in your bank account is losing value right now as you watch this video? Not because of bad investments, not because of overspending, but because of decisions made by governments and central banks. Decisions that most people never hear about and that the media barely covers. Today we're going to break down exactly how this happens, why it's been going on for decades, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Welcome to No BS Finance Daily. No jargon, no fluff, just what's actually going on with your money. Let's start simple. Money devaluation means your currency buys less than it used to. A dollar, a pound, a euro, whatever you hold, gradually loses its purchasing power over time. Here's a real example. In 1971, you could buy a brand new car for around $3,500. Today, that same car costs $48,000. Your money didn't disappear, but its buying power did. This isn't an accident, and it's not just inflation from businesses raising prices. It goes much deeper than that. To understand what's happening today, we need to go back to 1944. After World War II, 44 nations gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, to design a new global financial system. The agreement they reached was simple. Every country's currency would be pegged to the US dollar, and the US dollar would be backed by gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. This meant governments couldn't just print money whenever they felt like it. Every dollar had to be backed by real gold sitting in a vault. It was a system built on discipline. For decades, it worked. Economies grew, inflation stayed low, money held its value. But then came August 15th, 1971, a date that changed everything, and most people have never even heard of it. By the late 1960s, the United States was spending enormous amounts of money on the Vietnam War, on social programs, on foreign aid. To cover these costs, the Federal Reserve was printing more and more dollars. The problem? There was far more paper money in circulation than there was gold to back it. By 1971, there were 4 times more dollars in circulation than the US had gold in reserve. Foreign governments started to notice. France, Germany, Britain, they started demanding their dollars be converted back to gold. The US gold reserves were draining fast. So on the evening of August 15th, 1971, President Richard Nixon went on national television and announced that the US dollar would no longer be convertible to gold. He called it a temporary measure. The gold window has never reopened. In that single moment, the world moved from money backed by something real to money backed by nothing but government promises. This is called a fiat currency system. And here's what happened next. Since 1971, gold has gone from $35 per ounce to over $3,000 per ounce in 2025. That's not gold getting more valuable. That's the dollar losing over 98% of its purchasing power against gold in just 5 decades. Let that sink in. Here's where it gets really interesting and really frustrating. Once the link to gold was broken, governments and central banks gained an unlimited ability to create new money, and they've used it aggressively. In the United States alone, the money supply, known as M2, grew from $4.6 trillion in 2000 to $19.5 trillion in 2021. That's more than 4 times as much money in just 2 decades. And in 2020 alone, during the COVID pandemic, around 20% of all US dollars ever created were printed in a single year. Think about what that means. When new money is created and injected into the economy, it doesn't create new value. It dilutes the value of every dollar already in existence, like adding water to orange juice. More liquid, less flavor. This is why your rent has doubled, why groceries cost more every year, why your salary feels like it buys less even when it goes up. The money supply is expanding faster than the real economy. Every major government does this to some degree. The British pound has lost over 99% of its purchasing power since the 18th century. The euro, since its launch in 1999, has lost significant value. Emerging market currencies in countries like Turkey, Argentina, and Zimbabwe have collapsed entirely due to extreme money printing and government mismanagement. Zimbabwe is one of the most extreme examples. In 2008, their government printed so much money that inflation reached 89.7 sextillion%. They were printing $100 trillion notes that couldn't buy a loaf of bread. That's an extreme case, but it shows what happens when governments have unlimited control over the money supply and no real discipline. Now, this isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. Because once you understand this, you can stop letting it happen to you. First, don't hold large amounts of cash long-term. Cash in a savings account earning 1 to 2%, while inflation runs at 3 to 5%, means you're losing money every year in real terms. Second, put your money into assets that hold value or grow faster than inflation. Historically, that includes stocks, real estate, gold, and certain commodities. Third, educate yourself. The people who understand this system are the ones who protect their wealth. The people who don't are the ones who work hard their whole lives and wonder why they never get ahead. The system isn't broken. For the people running it, it's working exactly as intended. The question is, are you going to let it keep working against you? On this channel, we're going to keep pulling back the curtain on how money really works. No jargon, no sugarcoating, just the truth. If this video opened your eyes even a little, hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next one.